Just a reminder that all proceeds from our channel are donated to charity. Please help us help others by giving us a thumbs up, commenting, or subscribing to our channel. Your support makes a difference. We've had the chance to sail the Rhine with both AmaWaterways and Viking just months apart, and many of you asked us to compare the two. So in this video, we're breaking down 10 key differences and sharing which cruise line won each category based on our firsthand experience. And stick around to the end, where we'll reveal our overall winner. Let's kick things off with number 10, demographics. And this one might help you figure out who you'll be traveling with. AmaWaterways draws a slightly younger crowd, with average ages often in the mid-50s to early 60s, depending on the itinerary. Children over the age of 4 are welcome, though you won't see many. There are no kids clubs or family entertainment, but Ama does appeal more to an active traveler crowd, including multi-generational groups or younger couples. Viking River Cruises tends to attract a more mature audience, with the average passenger in their late 60s to early 70s. Viking is also strictly 18 and older, so if you're looking for a cruise without children and a quieter onboard atmosphere, that's a big plus. For us, the slightly younger and more active traveler crowd on AmaWaterways made our experience feel more energetic and aligned with our pace. So when it comes to demographics, the winner in our book is AmaWaterways. Coming in at number 9, food. On AmaWaterways, we found more variety at lunch, including daily appetizers for the table and freshly baked breads. The breakfast buffet offered more diversity and little touches like daily afternoon tea, fresh cheeses, olives, and savory tapas available throughout the day added to the experience. The chef's table dinner was also a highlight, a multi-course tasting menu included in the cruise fare. Regardless of when or where we ate, the presentation was lovely, with interesting tableware and plating. On Viking, the food was also very good. The soup stood out as consistently excellent, the breads were just as enjoyable, and we appreciated the effort that went into the regional specialty dinners, especially the German theme night, which felt like a lively event with more of a celebratory feel than on Ama. So while we enjoyed dining on both lines, the winner for food, thanks to the variety, European touches, and overall presentation, is AmaWaterways. For more detail, check out our full dining guides that you can find on our channel, including photos and menus. If you can't read the menus, you can always email us for better images. Let's move on to wine and drinks, an important part of the onboard experience for many travelers. Ama includes beer, wine, and soft drinks with lunch and dinner, and their sip and sail happy hour is a nice bonus. Before dinner each evening, guests can enjoy a selection of complimentary cocktails, beer, wine, and spirits in the lounge, which is something Viking doesn't offer. This adds a casual, social vibe to the pre-dinner experience. Both lines offer regional beer selections with meals, but we didn't find significant differences worth highlighting. However, while sailing the Rhine with Ama, we found the wine selections, both included and premium, to be underwhelming. And surprisingly, the premium list was quite limited, so even though the happy hour is a great feature, the overall wine program didn't match our expectations. Viking also includes beer, wine, and soft drinks at lunch and dinner, but what stood out to us was the quality and range of the wines, especially for a Rhine River cruise. The premium wine list was much more extensive, and the included wines were consistently enjoyable. Perhaps it's because Viking has its own private label wines in Germany? Maybe so. Another nice touch? Viking offers local schnapps tastings on multiple nights, not just once, a fun and cultural addition we appreciated. While they don't have a dedicated happy hour, the wine served with meals felt like more of a highlight on Viking. It's important to note that we sailed the Rhine River on each line, so the difference in wine quality wasn't due to the region, it was due to the cruise line's wine program itself. So which cruise line had us raising our glass in approval? Since we love wine, our pick for this category is Viking. For more detail, check out our full dining guides that you can find on our channel, including photos and menus. If you can't read the menus, You can always email us for better images. Let's move on from sipping to strolling, because coming in at number 7, it's time to talk about excursions. For many travelers, the excursions are the heart of a river cruise experience, and this is where AmaWaterways really shines for active guests like us. On Ama, you'll generally have a few included options in every port. Most days there's a general walking tour, or a day visit to a cultural point of interest, but also an opportunity to go hiking or on a bike ride. You don't have to be a triathlete to enjoy them, but it's perfect if you like getting your steps in and soaking in the scenery. Even the walking tours usually offer 3 pace levels: gentle, regular, and active. Choosing active might mean walking into town instead of taking the bus, like we did in Strasbourg, or it might just mean keeping up a faster pace with fewer stops. The point is, you choose and it's all included. Now compare that with Viking. You typically get 1 included excursion per port, usually a walking tour with no pace options. And that pace, it's set by the slowest person in the group. It's luck of the draw. That said, Viking did impress us with its Jewish heritage content. On several stops, they offered optional excursions focused on local Jewish history and even worked these stories into their included tours. It felt thoughtful and intentional. On Ama, we noticed a lack of this. Our guides didn't even mention Holocaust-related history in places where it seemed appropriate, like when we passed over stumbling stones without any explanation. We found this emphasis on Jewish heritage deeply meaningful, and we weren't alone. Several fellow passengers shared how much they appreciated Viking's thoughtful inclusion of this important history. Viking does offer optional excursions, and sometimes these include active options like e-biking, but those always come at an extra cost, often around $100 or more per person. That's something to consider when comparing value. Now in Ama, there are no optional excursions available through the cruise line, so what you see listed is what you get. If there's something specific you want to see that's not on the schedule, you'll need to arrange it on your own, which can be tricky on a river cruise. Docking times often vary because of river traffic or lock delays, so coordinating a private tour comes with risk and uncertainty. That's something worth thinking about depending on your travel style. So who wins when it comes to excursions? For us, the winner is AmaWaterways. Having multiple included choices in most ports and the ability to select the pace that fits your energy level makes a big difference, especially for active travelers like us. We loved being able to hike, bike, or take a faster-paced walking tour without paying extra. While Viking did a great job with cultural depth in some places, like Jewish heritage content, we feel Ama offers more flexibility and physical variety, which really fit our style. Coming in at number 6, let's talk about cabins. Just like with excursions, there are some pretty noticeable differences between Viking and AmaWaterways when it comes to staterooms, and depending on your preferences, you might feel strongly one way or the other. Let's start with AmaWaterways, where we typically book a fixed window or French balcony cabin rather than a suite. What stood out to us right away was the brighter, more welcoming decor. The cabins felt warm and inviting, not overly sleek or sterile, and small touches like table lamps by the bed really added to the cozy ambiance. The bathrooms on Ama also had some clear advantages. They were larger overall with better storage, including cabinets that helped us keep things neat. The shower included both a rainfall head and a handheld nozzle, which we appreciated. Storage in the main cabin area, however, is more limited. There aren't traditional drawers, just the small ones in the nightstands. That said, Ama makes smart use of the space with underbed pull-out drawers, which we found really helpful. Now let's look at Viking. The decor here is sleek and Scandinavian, with a more muted and monotone palette. It's elegant and modern, but felt a bit cooler and less personal to us. Viking cabins do offer better storage in the main area, including actual drawers, which we appreciated. And if you like to stay organized like we do, here's a tip. Magnetic hooks work perfectly on Viking walls, but not on Ama. We use them all the time, and we'll drop a link below for the ones we travel with. When it comes to the balcony cabins, which are very popular on river cruises, we really preferred Ama's twin balcony design. You get a French balcony and a full step-out balcony, which gives you a wall of windows, bringing in more light and making the room feel more spacious. The bathroom is larger in this category, whereas on Viking the bathroom is the same as every other stateroom except suites. We even prefer AmaWaterways French balcony rooms because they are a bit larger than Viking's. The fixed window staterooms, which are the entry-level cabins on both lines, are pretty comparable in layout and feel. For those considering a suite, Viking has the edge. They offer two suite types, veranda and explorer suites, with better layouts and real separation between living and sleeping areas. Ama only has one suite category, and it's a studio-style layout with no privacy between the spaces, aside from the bathroom. The only other note we'll add is that the in-room entertainment and connectivity on Viking fell short. TV channels often failed to load, and the Wi-Fi speed was extremely slow. While this might not matter much on a busy river cruise, for some, staying connected is important to us, especially when we're working on the go to bring you videos like this. The difference in quality between the two lines just a few months apart was surprisingly noticeable. We'll be diving into some key differences in capacity and pricing later in our countdown, but when it comes to cabins, the winner for us is AmaWaterways. If you've seen our room tours, you know we usually book a French balcony or even a standard fixed window stateroom to stretch our cruise budget and make more use of the beautiful common areas on board. Ama's brighter decor, smarter bathroom layouts, and thoughtful details throughout the cabin make them a better fit for how we travel. While we admire the twin balcony design, we typically don't choose it, and on Viking, we've actually found the French balcony staterooms to feel a little too tight for the price. As we said in number 6, we typically book smaller staterooms and rely more on the shared spaces around the ship, so how that space is designed and what's available really matters to us. That brings us to number 5, ship design. While most river cruise ships in Europe are similar in size due to lock and bridge constraints, how that space is used can vary significantly between cruise lines. AmaWaterways does have one notable exception, the Ama Magna, which is twice as wide as a standard vessel, but only sails on the Danube. Still, even within the standard size limits, we noticed a few key differences that really mattered to us. Let's start with AmaWaterways, whose ships generally carry 158 passengers and 79 cabins, supported by a crew of 49. What stands out is how Ama chooses to allocate that space. Instead of squeezing in extra cabins, Ama builds in additional public spaces that enhance the onboard experience. A fitness center, a massage and treatment room, a hair salon, the chef's table specialty restaurant, and even a small pool on the sun deck. For travelers like us, these design choices make a real difference. We make use of the fitness center, and while the pool may be small, we've actually used it for swim workouts with a tether. For others, it's a relaxing place to cool off or enjoy the swim-up bar during warmer weather. We also love the forward sun deck lounge area, outfitted with cushioned chairs and tables, perfect for relaxing and enjoying the scenery. On Viking longships, all vessels are built to a standardized design, 95 cabins accommodating 190 passengers with a crew of 50. To make space for the extra cabins, Viking does away with some of the wellness and dining spaces you'll find on Ama. That means no fitness center, no spa room, no pool, and no second specialty restaurant. What Viking does with that space is add more cabins overall, including 2 larger Explorer suites located at the back of the ship. We also have to give Viking credit for their beautifully designed Aquavit terrace, an open-air seating and dining space at the bow. It's a highlight of the ship and one of the few truly al fresco dining options in river cruising. Ama has an open, casual indoor dining space adjacent to the main restaurant that's available for breakfast and lunch, but it's not open air. While both ships are elegant and thoughtfully designed, for us the winner is AmaWaterways. We truly enjoy Viking's Aquavit Terrace. It's a beautiful place to relax, and their Explorer suites are impressive. But what makes the difference for us is how AmaWaterways uses its space to include features that really enhance our experience. A fitness center, the chef's table restaurant, and even a small pool. These shared spaces align with our active lifestyle and how we like to cruise, and they're made possible in part by having fewer cabins on board, a trade-off we're happy to make. All right, number 4 on our list is one you might not think about right away, but it really shaped our experience on board. Let's talk about entertainment and how we spent our evenings. This is where Viking really surprised us, in the best way. As we talked about in the last section, we really value common spaces and how they're used, not just for relaxing, but also for bringing people together. That's why onboard entertainment and social activities matter to us. One thing we really enjoyed on Viking was the interactive passenger events like trivia nights after dinner. These were offered every few evenings and gave us the chance to actually engage with other guests rather than just be spectators. On our AmaWaterways cruises, evening programming leaned more toward performances like guest singers or musicians, which some travelers may prefer, but we like the more casual, participatory vibe on Viking. Both lines have a resident piano player providing background music in the lounge, and both bring on occasional local performers or enrichment speakers. But what really stood out to us was how much connection and camaraderie developed among Viking passengers. Those little social touches made a big difference in how the cruise felt. For us, Viking wins this one for creating more natural opportunities to interact and connect with others on board. From social evenings to shared meals, let's talk about the dining atmosphere on board. We already mentioned how much we enjoyed Viking's Aquavit Terrace for al fresco dining, but we also want to highlight the main dining room. It's open, bright, and has a relaxed yet refined feel that we really appreciated. On AmaWaterways, the dining room has a cozier feel. And while the Chef's Table restaurant is a standout feature that we really enjoyed, it's not part of the daily dining experience. It's typically offered just once per cruise. What impressed us in terms of day-to-day dining was the versatility of seating in the main dining room. Whether we wanted a quiet table for two or a larger table to socialize, there were usually options available without needing to ask or wait. While many passengers love the ability to choose how social they want to be at each meal, we actually prefer the consistent layout and larger shared tables on Viking, which match the friendly, interactive atmosphere we appreciated throughout the cruise. So while Ama may be the winner for those who like dining flexibility, for us, the overall experience, combined with the airy setting and Aquavit Terrace, makes Viking the winner again here. After discussing the dining experiences on board, let's delve into a topic that's often top of mind when planning a river cruise: the cost. While Viking's base fare may appear lower at first glance, there's more to consider. Ama offers more variety and promotions and often has multiple discounts running at the same time, including luxury land packages. Finding special offers on both the AmaWaterways and Viking websites isn't very straightforward, so this may be a great time to consider working with a travel agent who knows where to look. But to help you navigate it on your own, we recorded our screens to show exactly how to locate these deals. Both websites have a section labeled Special Offers, and while it's not always easy to uncover the best discounts, they are there if you know where to click. Let's start with AmaWaterways, where we personally prefer the included land extensions. On our last cruise, we experienced one of these packages, and it truly felt luxurious, with upscale hotels and guided tours included every day. What's more, Ama often allows you to combine these land extensions with sail fares, which adds even more value. Daily touring isn't part of Viking's basic land packages, which we've discussed in detail in our Viking Extension Guide. Viking's offers usually aren't dramatic price cuts, but more often include things like low deposits or reduced or free airfare, as you can see here. For some travelers, that can be a great value. But for travelers like us, who prefer to book our own flights because of airline loyalty and the control it gives us over schedules, airfare specials aren't that appealing. So while Viking may highlight these kinds of promotions, it's important to look beyond the headline offer and consider what actually fits your travel style. Here's a quick comparison of two Christmas-time Rhine River cruises. On AmaWaterways, a 7-day cruise from Basel to Amsterdam with a 4-night land extension in Switzerland, including tours every day, came to $12,076 for a balcony cabin. We compared that to a similar itinerary on Viking, with a balcony stateroom and a 2-night extension in Switzerland, but with no tours included, and the cost was $10,396. So in our opinion, that $1,500 difference isn't huge when you consider AmaWaterways is giving you 2 additional days and daily guided tours. And if you were wondering, yes, we also clicked through Viking's current air promotion, and honestly, the pricing wasn't very appealing to us. So when it comes to pricing for us, neither line is a clear winner. The base fare on Viking may sometimes look lower at first glance, but AmaWaterways tends to offer more variety in their promotions and more frequent discounts. Still, the reality is that the prices are often quite similar, especially once you factor in what's included. What really matters is knowing what's most important to you, whether that's more included excursions, luxury land extensions, flight deals, or flexibility in planning. And that brings us to our number one difference between these two cruise lines. And honestly, the one that means the most to us and many of our friends who cruise. If you've seen our Viking River Cruise series, you already know our number one complaint with Viking is their early final payment requirement. For us, this is the biggest difference between Viking and Ama, and the one that has the greatest impact on whether or not we choose to book. Viking requires final payment much earlier than most other cruise lines. In fact, we've been asked to pay as much as 18 months in advance. While refunds are possible, it's still a lot of money to have tied up for such a long time, especially when plans can change. And this policy doesn't just apply to river cruises, it's consistent across all Viking sailings, including ocean and expedition cruises. Here's an example from Viking's website for the limited time offers we showed you earlier in this video. For 2025 cruises, you must pay in full by May 31st, 2025, or at the time of booking if you're within 120 days of departure. For 2026, full payment is due by August 31st, 2025. For 2027, you'll need to pay by February 15th, 2026. Viking does not publicly disclose a standardized final payment policy outside of limited time offers, which makes it difficult to plan unless you're booking under one of their current promotions. In contrast, AmaWaterways has a clearly stated policy. Final payment is due 90 days before departure for most cruises. So for clarity and flexibility, AmaWaterways takes the win. So let's wrap things up with a quick review of how the two river cruise lines compared for us, and more importantly, which one came out on top. When it comes to who's on board, we felt AmaWaterways was a better fit for us. The passengers were generally younger and more active, and that really matched our style of travel. Food was another area where Ama came out ahead. The specialty restaurant was a highlight, and we thought the variety and presentation of meals overall were more impressive. Now, in the category of wine and drinks, Viking actually surprised us, in a good way. While we did enjoy Ama's Sip and Sail cocktail hour, Viking offered better quality wines both at lunch and dinner, and even their premium options felt like a real step up. In terms of excursions, Ama also won us over. All excursions are included, and we appreciated that they offered active options like cycling and hiking, as well as different pace groups for walking tours. For cabins, Ama took the lead again. We loved the brighter decor, the better bathroom layout, and generally larger rooms. While Viking does have beautiful suites, we don't typically travel in suites, so Ama's standard staterooms made more of an impression. When looking at ship design, Ama stood out for making better use of space. Because they have fewer cabins, there's room for things like a fitness center, a small pool, and even a second dining venue, all things we used and enjoyed during our cruise. But entertainment is where Viking shined. They had more engaging activities like trivia and social events, which created a fun, interactive atmosphere in the evenings. The dining room setup on Viking was another thing we really liked. The larger tables made it easy to meet other guests, and we absolutely loved having the option to dine al fresco on the Aquavit terrace. As for price and value, we found that neither cruise line had a clear edge. Promotions vary, but once we compared the inclusions and final costs, the prices really ended up being pretty equal. So for this one, we'd call it a tie. But the biggest difference for us, and one we've mentioned before in our Viking River Cruise videos, is the final payment policy. AmaWaterways clearly wins here. They stick to a standard 90-day final payment deadline, while Viking often asks for full payment many months, even up to a year and a half or more in advance. That's a major commitment, and it's one of our least favorite parts of booking with Viking. So when we tally it up, AmaWaterways came out on top in 7 of our 10 categories. Viking won in 2, and we had 1 tie. In the end, both cruise lines offer excellent experiences, and you honestly can't go wrong. But for us, and for many of our friends who travel the same way, we found that AmaWaterways better fit our preferences. If things like more active excursions, better payment terms, and areas like a fitness center matter to you, you'll probably feel the same. Of course, if your top priorities are wine quality or meeting other passengers when dining, Viking might be a better match. It all comes down to what's most important to you. Let us know what you think in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We hope you enjoyed our friendly comparison between AmaWaterways and Viking River Cruises based on our experiences sailing the Rhine River just several months apart. Always remember to make meaningful and healthy travel happen. We'll see you next time.